Okay, everybody, it sounds like it's time to start. Am I standing in the right place? Am I like in the right spot? This is the spot? Okay. I'm like a painful walker back and forth on the stage, so I'm sorry to the people on Zoom. I'm just gonna like end up doing one of these things and you're gonna lose me and Melanie's gonna lose her mind. But I'm gonna do my best to keep planted right here. Thank you so much for everyone being here in person, and thank you so much for everyone dialing in on Zoom. You are in for an awesome evening tonight. Raise your hand if you are an entrepreneur in this room, any entrepreneur. This is a very high concentration of entrepreneurs. For folks on the phone, we have like 50% entrepreneurs here in the room, and I'm super excited to welcome you guys to the final event of the Alaska Angel Conference for 2024. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. This whole mic taped to the other mic is like innovative. I love it. Okay, so we have an action-packed program tonight. I know everybody's favorite thing is a great pitch competition, so there's going to be 4 awesome pitches that you're going to hear about. But first, I'm just going to go through a couple things. My name's Liam Zold. I'm the co-fund manager for the Alaska Angel Conference this year with Brian Holst, who's down in Juneau right now. He's dialed in on the phone. And this is my second year doing this. It's my 4th year being involved in the Angel Conference. And it's just an honor to be a part of something that's such an instrumental part of the ecosystem in Alaska. Lots of folks in the room know that there is tons and tons of energy and great things happening in the ecosystem here. I don't see Kai Holland here, surprisingly, but I usually shout him out at events like this. What'd you say? He's virtual. Okay. Kai Holland's on the phone. I usually shout him out at stuff like this as the ostensible granddaddy of all the startup founders and like the person who ramrods Startup Week and a lot of the stuff that I think a lot of us take for granted, but it's so impactful and meaningful for all the founders. What we do at the Alaska Angel Conference is we bring all the founders in through this process, but we also bring in new investors. And so by operating under the Alaska crowdfunding exemption, we're able to bring in investors to include those who are non-accredited investors. So my very first check that I wrote into a private investment deal period was an early stage startup in Alaska. It was WebRes in my first year with the Angel Conference. And since then, I've gone on to do about 15 more deals, and I participate in the Angel Conference every year. It's a 10-week process, and we go through, for those of you who don't know, lots of you know because you've been in it, but we have startup supply, we bring them in, we do pitches, we work the pitches, then we do pitches again, and then we down select from the startups to some finalists, and then we go through a due diligence process. And this is about educating the startup founders. It's about writing a big check to the winner, which ends up being one of the bigger equity checks that gets written into an early stage startup in Alaska every year, and we're really proud of that. We take it seriously. But it's also about educating the investors. We have first-time investors who come out every single year, and then they turn into awesome, amazing members of the team, and like just, you know, maybe like a couple, it was Evan Freed's first year like 3 years ago. He's a staple now. It was Bruna's first year last year. She's a staple now, just to name a couple. And, you know, it turns into this awesome community that we hope gets more check writers going in our great state here. So do you guys feel like you know what angel investing is? Do we need to talk about that? Angel investing is like the very earliest part of venture capital. So that means that it's a startup that was just founded. Maybe they're pre-revenue, maybe they just have a little bit of revenue. It's high risk, and it's usually individuals rather than institutions that are writing relatively small checks. And sometimes we weave those together by syndicating, which is kind of what the Alaska Angel Conference is. So, okay, we got ourselves a chart here. So we're at the final stage of this right now. Weeks ago, we had all the startup supply. We did our pitch competition. We selected 4 finalists this year. And then we started a due diligence process. And the due diligence process is really the thorough rigor of going through all the documents with the startups and interviewing the founders and everything. And we have selected the finalists at this point. I will say that I've been a part of a lot of different deliberations over the course of the Alaska Angel Conference and other investments that I've been a part of. And this one was particularly close and had a lot of boisterous discussion in the room, as I'm sure you guys are going to appreciate when you see the awesome 4 founders who are about to come up here tonight. It's pretty tough to pick the best one. So with all that said, as is becoming tradition, we're going to bring last year's winner up here to give you guys a couple words of encouragement. Zach Erving is one of my favorite people. He's one of my favorite portfolio companies, and he's got my favorite man bun in the entire world. And he actually started Prismatext a few years ago. He went through the Angel Conference twice to go on and win it last year. And I'd love to hear what he has to say to you guys.
Thank you, Liam. The man bun is actually a family haircut between me, my wife, and my daughter. So, hi, my name is Zach, and I'm a startup founder. It's been 5 months since my last anxiety attack. As Liam mentioned, this is my 3rd time participating in AAC, but this is only the first time I've been here not as a competitor. He also mentioned that I won last year, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the first year, the year that we lost. But before I do that, I want to paint a picture of entrepreneurship for the people in the audience who may or may not have experience with starting a business. It's a lot like doing maintenance on your house, except your house doesn't want you to live there anymore. There's a great scene in the sitcom Malcolm in the Middle where Hal, the father, returns home from work and he finds that the light bulb in the kitchen has burned out. So like any one of us would do, you go to the supply closet to get a new light bulb, but in so doing, unseats the shelf that the light bulbs sit on. There's a screw loose. Off to the utility drawer to get a screwdriver. Well, the drawer squeaks open and shut. Well, now you got to go to the garage to get the WD-40. But the can of WD-40 is empty, so now you have to go to the hardware store. And when you start your car, something sounds wrong. There's a problem under the hood. Shortly after all this happens, Lois, the mother, finds Hal in the garage, legs protruding from under the car, and asks the question that we, the audience, know that she should not have asked. Hal, did you change the light bulb in the kitchen? And Hal, covered in dirt and grime, slides out from underneath the car, whips himself upright, and screams, "What does it look like I'm doing?" Founding a company is a lot like Hal fixing the light bulb in the kitchen. There will always be a bug that begets a glitch, and a glitch that spawns a headache, and a headache that prompts a hassle. And as founders, especially in the early stages, we have to address every single one, regardless of the severity. One day we might change a light bulb, the next we might rewire the entire house. So back to that first year at the AAC finals. By the time the event had rolled around, my co-founder and I had been pitching for almost 6 months straight. And I didn't know it yet, but I would probably be pitching for another 9 before we saw our first investment check. Both of us had quit our day jobs to pursue this full time, and we were not taking a salary. Being so close to a 100K investment was enough to make us salivate, but we lost. In a single breath, an investment that could have transformed our company evaporated, and with it, all of our plans for improvement and growth had to be put on pause for the foreseeable future. Granted, I was very happy for Jay and the team at Cartorium. He and I are actually good friends, and we play Dungeons and Dragons on a weekly basis. I'm an elf cleric if you care about that kind of thing. But this loss, it wasn't the end, even though sometimes it felt like it was. Being a founder, after all, is the art of navigating the stepping stones across the lake of existential dread on a daily basis. Sometimes we fall in. Me, I've bathed in it. Sure, there are the external struggles. There's no other way to say it, but in wanting so desperately to bring something good into the world, you have to endure the gauntlet of not so good. Technical failures, financial shortcomings, supply chain issues, upset customers, even con artists masquerading as helpful enterprise. Sometimes it seems like the universe has it out for you. But nothing has tested my mental resolve quite like running a startup. And nothing grinds that resolve down quite like stumbling when you're trying to run a startup. The seeds of doubt and despair grow quickly in the right circumstances. So for the people here today, don't give them that opportunity to grow and spread quickly. You founders have probably gotten a lot of great advice in your startup journey. I only have this to add. Step back. Take a break, especially when you feel like you can't. Go for a walk. Breathe deep. Be thankful. But most importantly, wrap yourself in the love and support of the people around you. That's the only way this works. The pause after the loss was instrumental in our path forward for the company. It forced us to reconsider our goals, to hone our approach, to revise our strategy. I can say with a high degree of confidence that it was this pause after the loss that was the most valuable thing for us at that time, not the 100K investment. That's the life that founders have chosen for themselves. Learn that by losing, it doesn't mean that we've lost, and that if we do it right, we can keep losing right up until we win. Thanks.
Thanks for cheering us up, Zach. It's a tough journey, that's for sure. But you guys make it look easy, and I know I couldn't do it. So thank you for all the crazy awesome commitment that the founders in the room and beyond have. You make our ecosystem here awesome. So we're about to move on to the pitches. This is where you guys are going to get introduced to the founders that were the finalists in the conference this year. The pitches are going to be 5 to 6 minutes, and then we're going to have 4 to 6 minutes of Q&A. So what's going to happen is one of the members of the DD team for each of the companies is going to come up and ask one question on behalf of the DD team, and then we'll hopefully have a little bit of time for audience questions too. We're going to hand this mic back and forth to the person asking the questions so that we can kind of continue. People on Zoom hear us and that people can stay in front of the camera. Couple things just housekeeping wise that I've been reminded of. No food or drink here in the theater area. We got to keep it over there by the door. What was the second thing? Me too. Okay, there is a second thing. So what's going to happen at the end of this is there's going to be an audience choice award, and you're going to be furnished with a couple QR codes so that you guys can decide who you thought had the best pitch of the evening. And then we're going to invest $150,000 in the winner. The Angel Conference was a little bit different this year. In the past, there's been a number of organizations that have participated in the Angel Conference with staff time. This year, we did it with 100% volunteer hours. And we had a couple of investors step back and restructured things a little bit. One of the things that we did was the 49th State Angel Fund, who has typically been one of the investors and actually bought units in the fund, stepped out of the actual investing and diligence process so that they could apply the 49 SAF SSBCI funds to match the whole investment. So that was great. We lost one of our anchor investors, unfortunately, and we were therefore able to raise upwards of $75,000, but the 49th State Angel Fund is able to match that dollar for dollar. So we're going to invest at least $150,000 into the winning startup company tonight, and we're pretty pumped about that. So can you guys put your hands together for Melanie, please? Also for putting on such an amazing event. And for Calvin, thank you. Sorry, Calvin has joined the 49 SAF and moved here from DC. Let's not make him regret it if we can avoid it. So these are our finalist companies, and I'm not actually going to go through them and tell you about them because they are just about to tell you about themselves. And they're going to start with Carlina, with Keepers. So come on up.
Just want to make sure I can see to flip through. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So many of you and most of you know what short-term rentals are, Airbnbs. But what most people don't understand is the burden around short-term rental cleaning management. So there's currently 72 million short-term rental checkouts in the US every single year. And every single time there's a checkout, that host or manager has to figure out how to get the property cleaned. Hi, everyone. I'm Carlina, and I'm the founder of Keepers. We are reshaping the $11 billion US short-term rental cleaning industry. So for 9 years, I have struggled with how to get a property cleaned after the guest left. Booking demand has never, ever been my problem. And so with this, I was like, I cannot be the only person on this globe that is dealing with this issue. So I reached out to hundreds of hosts across this nation, all asking them what they do for cleaning. The majority of them responded, it's their toughest problem. Even some telling me they had to sell their properties. So with that, Keepers was born. I set forth to resolve this industry issue. So with every booking, short-term rental hosts, they have to deal with this very narrow window of time to get the property turned over, to get it cleaned for that next guest arrival. So I want you to meet Ashley. She's a host, she's a manager, she manages multiple properties. She has 3 checkouts tomorrow. I'm taking you through her journey. And she just had a last-minute reservation that is checking out tomorrow. That's 4 cleanings. Now let's fast forward to tomorrow. She didn't get a cleaner to fulfill this last-minute reservation. And then, so she has to drop everything she's doing. She has to clean this property if she lives close enough to do so. But on top of that, one of the cleaners just canceled. Now she has 2 properties to try and figure out how to get cleaned. It's not Ashley just dealing with this problem, it's the globe dealing with this problem. They are dealing with how to get the property clean. And so with that, Ashley's tried all the other platforms out there. They haven't resolved her problem. She finds Keepers, she joins Keepers, she easily integrates her property management company into our platform. Now, every single checkout equals a job on the Keepers app. That integration brings over all of her property data and all of her reservations for each property. Now, those jobs go to all of our cleaning users. They get a notification, they can see all the job details, and they can accept the jobs they want fitting their schedule that these cleaners are managing themselves. So, and then the cleaners start the job. Our app, we've standardized the entire cleaning process so that way any cleaner can show up to a job. They're walked through it. They take pictures when they arrive, and then they're walked through the entire cleaning process. And then they take final photos of it. And now this is where our AI, machine learning, photo recognition, quality assurance steps in. So the cleaner is notified if they still have to clean. If that photo is showing a dirty image, then they're alerted to go back and clean again. And then once they're finished, the cleaners get paid. So we run on a commission-based model. Our cleaners take 65%, we take 35%. Our average cleaning fee currently is $142. And that equals $4,500 in net revenue for us currently on properties. So we're so excited. We launched 1 year ago in Anchorage, Alaska. We have done $350,000 in 1 year, where we've been able to pay out cleaners over $200,000 in their pocket. And we've also partnered with industry leaders because they see the value that Keepers is bringing to the entire industry. So there's been other people that have approached this. We're calling it 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. So, but they've all approached it with very similar antiquated, just pure marketplace plays. The host still has to manage 100% of the cleaning process. Keepers is the only fully automated company in the industry. So, and we're really excited. We're launching in Austin here in a few weeks. So June 17th is our target date for our first clean there. And then we've also laid out in the next 5 years, we will be nationwide. And then after that, we will hit the international market. So we have a very conservative approach to this with our cleaning fee. We know right now is an average of $142. That will increase with inflation, with larger properties coming on, luxury units coming on. And then, so we, with our conservative numbers, are assuming that we can hit $300 million in revenue in the next 5 years. But this is only short-term rental cleanings and no other revenue stream. And our vision is a lot bigger than short-term rentals. It is full property automation management for rental properties. And then we have the founding team, myself, and then I have a co-founder, Patrick. I have 9 years deeply understanding this issue that I am resolving. And Patrick has a decade of leading operational excellence in fast-growing startups. And then we have a bench of great cheerleaders. And these are our advisors, and these are our head of growth, our head of engineering, and they are really excited about the future of Keepers. And then here is our timeline for the next few months. This is our timeline to 225 properties, which nets us over $1 million in revenue. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, okay. Melanie has the audience question. Am I the person asking the Keepers question? Oh, okay. Well, sounds good. So, oh, I do this up on stage? Okay.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, what's going?
So Carlina and I and the rest of the D team have spent a lot of time together on Zoom over the last 8 weeks, going through all the processes and all the questions. And my biggest question for you is, how much of this business is technology and how much of this business is operations?
So that's a good question. So we like to think of us as a technology company because we want to put that as the forefront, because with technology, we think we can solve a lot of the human interaction and the human level of the operations. Now, we will always be an operational company, but we think, for example, the machine learning piece, that's going to allow us to scale and grow faster by not having to have and hire as many bodies as we normally would without it.
Awesome. Yep. You're good. Ben?
Hello.
Hi.
My question is, what does it take to launch in each city, and how are you able to make that scalable so that you don't have to go necessarily linearly one by one?
Yeah, so right now, our launch plan includes, we're gonna start a marketing campaign to launch into cities. We also have some guerrilla marketing tactics, whether that's door to door. We have access currently, like for example, Austin, we're launching right now. We have direct access to the addresses for short-term rentals. And so they're gonna be getting flyers, but it's also ensuring that we are keeping in contact with property management companies there. So currently, for example, in Austin, there's 12,200 short-term rentals in that market. We have access to 3,400 through property management connections, and then over 2,000 through direct contact. I'm sorry, the last part of the question.
Just how do you prevent having to do it linearly? So like
Yeah. Yep. And so we are approaching it with the hub and spoke model. So we are going into this with some organic growth potential. And so the hub and spoke, oh, okay, sorry. Oh, that's it? Oh, okay.
All right, next up we have Walter with Montis. I remembered the other thing, by the way. Silence your cell phones, please. Here you go, sir.
All right, thank you.
Hello, I'm Walter Combs with Montis Corporation. We develop and present aviation weather data to improve flight decision making. There's simply nationwide, worldwide, not enough observation stations to serve pilots properly. Pilots are actually loading passengers, loading cargo, and flying out to their destination. We call it fly out and take a look. This is a serious problem. I know this problem by heart. I've been with the FAA for 27 years. I've solved this problem with the FAA, installing 230 camera systems in Alaska and 125 systems in the lower 48 and Hawaii. This system that we installed is a network of systems that pilots use to fly along a route, and there's lots of holes in that network. So the solution is to install a low-cost, easily maintained camera and weather station and install that at locations where there aren't weather stations now, so that we can fill in that network so that pilots can now take a look before they fly. They can get it, they can get online, they can look at all the weather all along their route and make a decision as to whether or not it's safe to fly. The solution isn't all that simple, but if you look at it, the core of our system is an AWS cloud. And on the left, we bring all the weather data in, public weather data, FAA, National Weather Service data, our MWAS data, as well as proprietary data. We bring it into the cloud, we process it, we format it, and we sell that data through our mobile app, website, and API. Our revenue models are twofold. We have a hardware business and we have a software business. So we install, maintain, and we sell, install, and maintain hardware. And on the other side, we have a SaaS business. We sell this data to anybody that wants to buy it. We've already got one sold, so we have traction. There's an operator out of Fairbanks that called. They've got a route that they fly. 2 airports don't have any weather data, so they're flying out, taking a look, turning around, come home. Also, we weren't planning to go to the lower 48 states right away, but we're already being pulled that way with customers reaching out to us from other states saying, hey, bring it down here. So. Our market opportunity, like I said, we're starting in Alaska. We want to build this network here, improve the operational network itself, and our revenue models, and then expand out to the lower 48, Canada, and then the rest of the world. So we have a go-to-market plan. We have a marketing specialist on our team now, and he's helping us develop targeted sales sales packages so that we can go after those customers that we know need these systems. He's also going to help us put together our revenue models, I've got revenue models, but we're going to perfect those revenue models. So I'm quite encouraged by that. We do have a distributor and a manufacturer that we're talking to right now, developing the beginnings now of a license agreement with them, so they can manufacture this, sell it for us, and install it. We get the data. The data is where the money is at. So this is my team. In the FAA, I had the Federal Aviation Administration. I had a team that I could put up against anybody. We were the best implementation team in the agency. I can pick people. I picked this team. We've already developed the MWAS, installed it at Merrill Field. We're providing that data to the cloud network and to 10 of our test pilots right now on our mobile app. We do have an exit strategy. Our model and the service that we provide fits into the portfolio of every one of these companies and within these industries. Oops. So I'm asking for $850,000. That $850,000 over the next year and a half, we'll develop that system here. We'll anchor the program here, perfect our revenue models, show that the system actually pays will pay for itself. Then after that, then we're coming back for Series A funding, and we'll then expand across the U.S. And the world. Our distributor, by the way, has a worldwide footprint. So they've got sales teams and installation teams all over the world. We're self-funded to this point. And 49th State has pledged $400,000 matching funds. I do want to say a little shout out for Launch Alaska. We're part of their portfolio. They inducted us here a few weeks ago, and we're quite proud to be a part of that group now. So that concludes my presentation, and I appreciate your guys' patience with me.
Thank you again.
How's it going, Walter? I'm maybe a little bit nervous, just like you. I noticed you updated your slide deck. You had a slide in there that had a picture of a helicopter talking about 8 potential sales. Can you talk about the needs for your system with regards to air ambulance and what the implications on you and the customers are? Thank you.
You bet. When I was, while I was part of the FAA, I was working with the helicopter air ambulance industry in Mississippi, and they reached out to me and said, help us figure out how to improve our operations. Out of 2,500 operations, 700 of them they had to cancel because they didn't know whether or not the weather was good enough for them to go. That's 700 life flights that couldn't happen because they didn't have weather information. And so typically these weather stations are on big airports, and the small airports and hospitals aren't equipped. And so the FAA, when I left, the FAA stopped or slowed down that work with them. And so now they're reaching back out. In fact, they reached the FAA, and the FAA recommended us to be the solution for them. So there's a couple of different companies that we're working with to helicopter ambulance companies to start modeling this for them, put in a few of them, test them. And I can tell you right now, once you give these pilots that data, they'll never let go of it. Once it's in there, you will not be able to take it away from them. So.
Thank you, Walter. Do we have an audience question?
Walter, thanks for the great presentation. I spent a lot of time reading the diligence memo that your team put together. It was really, really good, and going through a lot of your numbers. You're planning on a big part of your revenue being sale of data through the apps or through partner channels and stuff. But a lot of that's got to come from you installing your systems. And I know there's a public data component too. Mm-hmm. Is this kind of a build it and they will come thing where you really need to get an installed base of these systems in before the app becomes more useful to a large number of pilots? Or is it the kind of thing where it's useful now and it's just going to get better?
I appreciate that question. So right now, I've got all this FAA and National Weather Service data all splattered right on the website. You can go to 100 websites and get different data on all 100 of them. And most of these pilots are looking at 4, 5, 6 different websites, trying to get the information that they need to make a flight decision. Our platform brings everything that's currently available today and puts it in a formatted position so that they can see all along a route. You can make a route and widen the corridor and pick up all the weather stations along the way and save that route, edit it, get rid of the stuff you don't want. And now you've got all of that in one package. Where we don't have weather data, we're going to go after the pilots that fly there. Southwest Alaska, we have 25 locations that we've identified that don't have any weather in Southwest. There's 7 operators that fly out there daily. So we're going to work, and I've already started the conversations, but we're going to work with them to identify which one of those are the highest priority, and then we'll install there. And we've got a few marketing schemes and a few schemes for self-equipage, as well as sponsorship of camera systems. So a sponsor can actually sponsor it. We can put their logo on the web page or on the app, that kind of thing. So we've got some really good plans, really good thoughts on that. But with regard to the weather data that's out there, it's there. I'm going to put it on. It's now available. We're drawing revenue on our applications, and we start filling in the holes with what is going to be proprietary data to us, and we'll present that to everybody on the website, mobile app, and deliver it out of our API.
Thanks, Walter.
You bet. Sorry, I was a little nervous.
You're good. You did a great job. Okay, this is your first reminder that we have a People's Choice Award. So you're going to see this QR code again, so you'll have another opportunity. But just in case you're having a good conversation or you're in the bathroom, I recommend you take your phone out right now. You point it at that QR code. That way, you have an opportunity to, after you've heard all 4 pitches, you've had an opportunity to click on your favorite startup and vote in the People's Choice Award, because the People's Choice is going to win a $50 Amazon gift card, and they're going to have the glory of being able to put that on your resume. I can't tell you, when you're an early stage startup, every pitch competition counts, and every win that you can put under your belt counts. And so definitely look at the awesome quality of the founders that are here and pick your favorite one. Next up, we have Jen with Foraged and Found.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Brown, and I am the founder and CEO of Foraged and Found, where we're making it as easy as possible for American consumers to say yes to eating superfood kelp every day. So far, we've had great traction. We got one of our product lines into 134 Whole Foods Market locations, bringing our total retail count up to 265. According to the Food Marketing Institute, about 2/3 of Americans are incredibly conscious of the ingredients that go into their food. Things like GMOs, artificial ingredients, and pesticides are being increasingly linked to health problems. But a lot of these issues are born from a food system that's inherently broken. Monocropping, wasteful practices, and farming practices that lead to a low nutrient density of foods, as well as a damage of the ecosystem, have really created an unsustainable system. We've also noticed that some of the grocery aisles are really ripe for innovation. Things in the sauce and condiments category really haven't changed for, in some cases, hundreds of years. We know from our research that consumers want products that are sustainable, they want products that are healthy, and they still want products that are going to be delicious. And so what's going to deliver on all 3? At Foraged and Found, we believe that the answer to this is kelp. Kelp is a zero input crop. It requires no fresh water, no fertilizers, and no pesticides to be grown. It also is a carbon sink and helps offset ocean acidification. In addition to being great for the planet, kelp is really great for the human body when eaten, and it provides a host of nutrients that are very deficient in most Western diets. So at Foraged and Found, what we've done is we've taken this super crop and we've turned it into products that are not confusing to consumers at all. You're not going to have to change your diet or change your palate in order to get these super nutrients. All you have to do is choose Foraged and Found. What is choosing Foraged and Found? It's eating pickles, eating pasta sauce, eating salsa, foods that you probably already eat on a daily or weekly basis. The difference is that Foraged and Found packs a dose of that nutritious kelp into every serving of our products. And we do this without sacrificing on flavor or quality. Every single one of our products could go toe-to-toe with the top gourmet products in its category. We do this by carefully selecting the ingredients that we include with our kelp and by leveraging my experience as a professional chef. Our revenue model is diverse, but we focus primarily on B2B brick and mortar sales into grocery stores similar to Whole Foods. We also sell direct to consumer through our e-commerce platforms, and we sell direct to business in both retail stores as well as tour operators and restaurants within the state of Alaska. Our margins are good. We've always had an eye on margin, but we're planning on making them even better by moving to a co-packer this year with a much higher, a 25% higher throughput than our current co-packer, which is going to drop our costs significantly and increase our margins. I launched Foraged and Found out of my kitchen in Ketchikan, Alaska in 2018. And in the early days, we started very, very small. But since then, between then and now, I've gotten what I consider my PhD in launching and scaling a national CPG brand. And with that, we've gotten to the traction that we have now, which is placement in the largest natural grocery distributor in the United States and having Whole Foods on board as a key retailer. With this momentum, we plan to get into 450 additional high volume grocery stores, which will 10x our revenue in the next 12 to 18 months. The US grocery market is a massive market. It's an $852 billion industry. With the three product lines that we have on our runway for the next 24 months, that alone makes up $10.8 billion. But we don't want to stop just with these product categories. We intend to continue to innovate within the grocery space and create more products that get kelp onto more and more grocery shelves. And how are we going to do that? It's going to start with our team. My career prior to my culinary experience was in global corporate marketing for some of the largest brands in the world. I've lived both in the US and outside of the US doing product launches for these companies. In 2019, I brought on Chelsea Goucher, a born and raised Alaskan with deep ties to Alaskan politics and to economic development foundations within the state. She currently sits on the board of directors for Southeast Conference, who recently received a $49 million grant to develop the kelp farming industry within Alaska. So our goals for this current raise are twofold. As I've said a few times, we're increasing that number of high volume grocery stores, but we also want to make sure that we're growing our annual value per store. And we're doing that by developing a brand ambassador team in 5 key cities across the United States that we just launched this month. And our early testing with us is showing that that's going to increase this number right here, which is our baseline number from Whole Foods, very significantly. And we're very excited to see how they're going to help drive this metric even higher. And that is us. I would love to take any questions anybody has.
Thank you, Jen. I'm Jesse. I'm an MBA student at UAF, and we had the honor of doing the due diligence for Foraged and Found. So the question that we have for you is explain your, and you kind of touched on it a little bit in your pitch, but explain your farm to consumer process and specifically the partnerships that you utilize in that process.
So it all starts with the sourcing of the kelp material, which is always from Alaska. We currently are sourcing the majority of our kelp material from outside of Ketchikan area, District 1. We're managed by the Department of Fish and Game, and so they're overseeing our harvest and making sure that it's sustainable. We haven't hit even close to our ceiling, and the biomass in our area is massive, but we are already starting to look to diversify geographically to other regions in the state of Alaska. So we're looking at Cordova, Kodiak, and Juneau, because they have a high biomass of bull kelp as well. From there, we've developed an export market for this, and we actually have all of our secondary processing happening at co-packers in Washington State. And that's going to allow us to be really nimble and move into new product categories really quickly when we want to by working with factories who are already experts at creating these types of products. What we won't give up, though, is me developing those recipes.
Thank you, Jen. Any audience questions? Thank you, Mark. And Jen, if you'll repeat the question for the live stream. Okay.
Hi, Jen. Great presentation. Can you tell us a little bit about what your exit strategy is?
Thanks, Mark. So he asked about my exit strategy. And yes, so our goal is to eventually be acquired by a larger CPG brand. We plan to grow our revenue up to anywhere between 20 to 40 million per year at a minimum, and then get an acquisition somewhere in the 100 to 150 million range or higher, depending on what we can do and what our future raises look like. But that tends to be the norm in the CPG industry. Thank you.
Next up, we have Aaron with SuprSketch.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Aaron Cox. I am the CEO and founder of a brand new art technology company based here in Alaska. We are called SuprSketch Corp. And it all started, I'll get a little closer. It all started from a personal art installation that I created, and other artists were like, that's dope. I want a piece of that technology. How do I do that? And I'm like, well, I'll just run exhibits for you. And it kind of actually grew into what you see right now. We decided to become a startup. So right now, there's a big problem in the art market, and that is that 85% of artists do not make a livable wage. It's insane. And on top of that, they spend a lot of time creating, and while they're creating, they're not making any money. And so that's why we created SuprSketch.com. You guys can go check it out and check out our prototype. It's a a live streaming platform built for digital artists and their large followings. And it has generated $28,000 from 3 months of prototype testing. This is our team. That's me. I'm the CEO. We are comprised of artists and engineers. And we know we're the team to build this. So let's talk about SuprSketch and kind of what the platform really is. It's where viewers can subscribe to a perfect quality live stream of an artist's drawing pad. Okay, but this is not a video live stream. I need to make that very clear. This is a brand new technology. And yeah, it's built for art. Oh, actually, let me talk you through this really quick. That's an artist. He's drawing on his drawing pad, and he's sending updates to somebody's digital smart TV that's in their dining room. That's literally what we're doing. And when he closes his drawing pad, that stays up on your wall. So it's always just waiting for an update from the artist's drawing pad. He comes, he wakes up the next morning, draws another line, boom, it's right there on the wall. And a really great example too is if we take a look at an artist like Gabe Weiss, for example, he has 200,000 followers, and say he makes about 60,000 a year right now. And a majority of his time is actually spent on his day job. He spends 40 hours a week actually working. And he needs that supplementary income to, actually help provide for his cost of living. Now, that's a problem for him because he wants to commit all of his time to his art, and he can't do that. What our live streaming service does is it provides that source of supplementary income for him to focus on art, focus on creating his actual community and marketing all of this to him. And we paywall all of his content for him too. Our live streams, we actually named it. It's called the Super Canvas. And SuprSketch.com is a platform of super canvases. Our first super canvas gained $3,200 from 400 paid subscribers, all for one artist, all just for 1 month of his time, just access to watch him create art. Here's our technology, okay? This side right here, this is the artist's drawing pad. He's drawing on it, or he or she is drawing on it. They're drawing on it. And this is actually what you would experience when you open our website right now. It's the Super Canvas. It's a paywall digital canvas, and that's what I really want to impress on you guys. It is not a live stream. It's a digital canvas that is being updated. And as an artist draws on their drawing pad, every brushstroke is actually turned into code and then recreated on the viewer side. And it's pixel perfect. So let's take a look at the platform. It's as easy as finding an artist in our marketplace, subscribing to them with a Stripe payment with your credit card, and then you get access to them. You could view their art for a whole month. You get access actually to their drawing pad, which is really cool. Here's our competitors. Twitch, they're the #1 live streaming service, but their video live streaming, it's compressed, not great for art. There's OpenSea, they sell art, but they do not monetize the creative process. And on top of that, it's not meant for live streaming. There's also OnlyFans, and I like to really compare us to OnlyFans because like OnlyFans has models who have large communities. We have artists who have large communities. Models market to their communities before OnlyFans even existed. Our artists already market to their communities. So they're kind of the perfect fit for us. And as you can see, we have all the nice green check marks right here. Okay, so why are we better than them? Well, we're the first art-based streaming platform. We're the first to monetize an artist's creative process. We're the first to do it at pixel perfect live image reproduction. And we're doing it at 200 times less data compared to live streaming platforms. Okay, this is proprietary tech. I'm low on time, so I'm gonna keep going through here. I do wanna add that it's a brand new technology, and we actually got invited to submit a proposal by the National Science Foundation for their SBIR grant, and we submitted it in April, so we're really proud about that. And this is our market size. If you own a streaming service and you like art, you're part of our market. We believe that our obtainable market is this $3 billion market right here. We are a subscription model, and we take 30% of all subscriptions. And yeah, we have some traction. And this year we're focusing on development, and next year we're going to be really focusing on growth. And yeah, that's us. That's SuprSketch. Scan the QR code.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, everybody. I'm Evan. We got to work with Aaron over the last few weeks and get a look at SuprSketch up close and personal. My question for you, while I am personally sold on this and I'm super excited about the new technology and all the opportunity it provides artists and those of us who enjoy art, this is a pretty ambitious project, and it's a brand new technology like you outlined just now, and it's even kind of hard to understand what exactly it is. So what are some of the concrete things that you're doing tomorrow, next week, over the summer to make this become a reality?
Thank you. We're focusing on actually platforming our tech right now. Our key things that we're focusing on right now is growth, right? It's growth, retention, and profitability. That's really what we're focusing on right now, pulling in subscribers and actually proving like, hey, there's a lot of people that want access to this technology. Thanks for that question.
What does our audience have for Aaron? Ryan, coming up to the stage. And Aaron, if you would kindly repeat the question for the online fans.
Okay.
Here. So I like to paint. When can I use your technology?
Are you a physical painter?
Yes, oil paints.
Oil paints. Okay. So the question is, he is a physical painter. When can he use our technology? That's an excellent question. Right now, we are only focused on digital artists. But here's where the kicker is. We're actually working on image machine learning programming where we're capturing live video of people painting and actually reproducing it in our specific digital output. And that will be available in about a year and a half. But we're already testing it, and it looks pretty dope. Yeah.
We have time for one more audience question.
I mean, if there's no question, I will say that, like you said, we're the most ambitious company probably out here. We are probably the riskiest company if you look at everybody up here. But that's why we're here for angel investment. And I know for a fact that you guys are going to be like, I saw Aaron that one day. I met him. I know him. All right? I know that for a fact.
You are the sort of company, but I just want to make a comment real quick. I think this is the 5th time I've seen you pitch, and it just gets better and better and better. You're hitting a style in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Okay, we're going to press this button here so you guys can see the QR code again. Now you've seen all 4 pitches. How was that? Was that good? I thought it was fabulous. We have talented entrepreneurs who were in the program this year, and this was a tremendously difficult decision for us to make. Difficult to come to consensus. One of the things that the Angel Conference really believes at our core is that we bring in a great diversity of different investors. Everybody's got a unit, or maybe they buy 2, but we think that the collective makes decisions better than the individual, and it certainly was difficult to make this collective decision this year. So I am going to give you guys about 3 minutes to get all your votes in for the People's Choice Award. Huckleberry, do you have like some Jeopardy music or something we can play up there? Will they do that?
I will also remind people in the room that Foraged Town does have samplers at the entrance. Don't go up now and just get them. Save them for on your way out of the theater, since we're not supposed to be eating inside. But yes, please make sure. And you can take your jars off. Oh, wow. Oh man, Jen does not want to go back to Michigan with jars. So help her out. All right, so let's see our results through. Oh, wow. We are looking good, friends.
Yes, Bruno.
Put the code back in there.
Oh, you want the code back?
Thank you.
We can do that. Yep. I didn't actually mean to advance the slide. Is there maybe some timing on this slide deck? Yeah, it's okay. While everybody gets their last votes in, I also want to just give a shout out to the organizing team. It was a small organizing team this year, but myself and Brian were the fund managers, and Brian really knocked the SPV formation and stuff out of the park. And then Huckleberry, of course. Huckleberry was the one who kind of put the boots to us to get the whole thing started this year, and he's organized every meeting, and he's been running a course at UAF, well, the University of Alaska system anyway, on angel investing the whole time. And so we've had students of Huckleberry's who are learning how to invest right now and have been a part of the program, which has been awesome. Margot Fliss, that's you in the back there, right? Margot took on the task of educating all the startups in this process and in how to raise money and in how to do early stage startupery all the way through this. And that was awesome. And then we already recognized Melanie, but Melanie was, there was no shortage of help from Melanie, especially putting together this awesome final event. So I'm going to have you announce the People's Choice Award because you have the results right there.
I sure do. And we have a winner. Drum roll, please. Our last presenter, SuprSketch, is the recipient of a $50 Amazon gift card. If you want to come up and claim your prize, or I'll just turn around in the chairs and hand it to you. Another round of applause for SuprSketch. There you go.
I know, I saw it.
Do you want me to be Betty White?
Yeah, you be Betty White. That's a good call. All right, guys, this is the big moment. Like I said, you know, there's no shortage of winners in this room, and I know that all four of the startups who were involved are going to go on to be incredibly successful, do great things, and raise all sorts of money. But at great pain and in 3.5 hours last night, a group of about 11 investors representing 14 units argued and argued and argued, and we had to come up with one that was a winner. And, you know, like I said, the collective makes decisions better than the individual. So without further ado, $150,000 this year is going to go to Montis. Congratulations, Walter. Come on up. Here, say, pose for the. Let me get a picture of you guys real quick. All right, smile, guys. All right, Walter, sorry to put you on the spot, but you've got a couple minutes for any remarks you'd like to give.
Okay, thanks. I'm not near as nervous now. Thank you very much. You know, my life's work has been aviation safety. I joined the FAA because I had family members and friends, 9 of them, die in separate aircraft accidents over the years. And one day I just decided I was joining the FAA. I was going to be a part of the solution. And as soon as I got in there, I was able to do that. And after I retired, you know, I'm a guy that throws his own, like a dog throws his own stick, right? I can't stop. So I threw that stick and I didn't get it yet. I want to increase this system and this network, and eventually this system will be serving UAS operations, the drone cargo and drone operations across the state and across the world. So that's our ultimate goal. And anyway, this money is going to help tremendously, and I really appreciate AAC big time. I mean, all the work you guys did to help me get to this point is fantastic. All the contestants are fantastic. And when I get my exit, I don't know Zach, I just met him, but when I get my exit, my next goal is to grow a man bun.
Thanks, Walter. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so that concludes our remarks for the night. I'd love to get all 4 of the startup founders here so we can take a group picture with you. And then maybe we'll do one with the investors too. What's happening very next is we're going to go to the peanut farm. That's one of my favorite things to do. We have the back room at the peanut farm booked from 7 p.m. on tonight, and there is a minimum on how much we spend to get that room. So I encourage you guys all to show up. It's going to be really fun, as it was last year. Last year there was karaoke. As you can imagine, that goes really well on the evening of the Angel Conference. All right, did you get it? Awesome. Thank you, guys. Can I get all the investors up here? Ready. Yep. Oh, I turned the mic off. Yep. Oh. Mic check. All right, last round of announcements. You know, there's a lot of people here who already got thanked, but there's a number of organizations who just have been endless supporters of the Alaska Angel Conference, and importantly, JDO Law in the upper right. Mark Melkert is our our completely pro bono lawyer who goes through all our PPMs and everything every year and keeps us out of trouble, and we so appreciate the support from JDO Law. It really keeps this program going every year. When you write small checks, you can't collect enough in fees to be able to pay full lawyer rates, and so that's absolutely instrumental to keeping this thing going. It wouldn't be economic otherwise. JEDC. That's Brian's group down in Juneau. JEDC is consistently a fund manager, consistently buys 2 units, and consistently puts all kinds of blood, sweat, and tears into this organization. We super appreciate it. And same thing with Alaska Center Ice. That's who employs Huckleberry. And Alaska Center Ice also got 2 units this year. All of Huckleberry's time and effort, and of course the awesome students that they contributed to our DD process. And then the CED, who's also been super supportive of this effort throughout our history. And then, as I mentioned, 49 SAF matched every dollar this year. Thank you so much. And the Alaska Investor Network. I'm also the president of the Alaska Investor Network, and that is a group of angel investors. And the vision is that new investors who come into the Alaska Angel Conference, if you kind of like doing this, then you should join the Alaska Investor Network, because that's a group. It is an accredited group, but we also have a sub part of it for non-accredited investors as well. We organize monthly pitch events, and we try to listen to one Alaska startup and one non-Alaska startup for investment opportunities every month. So hit me up if you're looking for more details on that. And with that, I hope to see every single one of you guys at Peanut Farm. Thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting, and get your Foraged and Found on the way out.